All right, well, I'm back out in the garage again. I just got back from running some errands. I had to pick up a bolt, a nut, a washer, so I can get the condenser installed, which arrived today. And I also stopped in at Chevy to try and see if we could find a rubber bump stop. And I got to tell you that back in the day, you could walk into a parts counter and you could say, hey, this is out of a car, it's a Chevy, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm trying to do, car's really old, you have something similar off of a later model car. And I guess back in that time, which isn't too awful long ago, guys would have handled parts enough to know that, hey, maybe I did have my hands on something similar, or there's a bin back there with some rubber stuff in it that I could go look at. Well, today's brood, they are unwilling, maybe, I don't know if that's the case, or don't have the ingenuity to think on their own, perhaps, because this dude would not peel himself away excuse me, from the computer. He wanted the VIN number, he wanted the year. I gave him the VIN number, I gave him the year, he cross-referenced a bunch of stuff. He was all about using the logic on that computer but not using his own logic. So, you know, I miss those days where you could work together with your fellow parts guy and come to a conclusion of something even close, and even having an idea of what you were trying to accomplish. But not so much the case anymore, and I guess that's you know, either evolution or sign of the times, I don't know which. But I definitely don't think it's good, and it's certainly not going to help, you know, this country of ours move forward in any good way that I can think of. So that being said, I'm going to grab onto these new parts that came. I got a wheel for another car, and then I've got the condenser that came in, and I'll bring it back and we'll open them up. All right, so here's the condenser. Pretty proud of the fact that it's made in USA. It's pretty tough to come by these days. So, see, I'll try and get this open with holding the camera, giving you a headache. Looks like it's back pretty nice. Get that out of there. All right, there we have it. So let me get this all opened up and see what it looks like. All right, well, there it is. It's out of the box. I'm gonna see if I can hopefully reuse the rubber bumpers that I have, and after trying to find some, but we'll see. Let's get this thing in the car. So, got the condenser in, and I had to do a lot of, not a lot, but I had to shave down the bolts that came with it that mount it to the mounting brackets, and then I had to elongate one of the holes on the bottom so that I could push the corner in a bit because the bolts that hold it to its holder that bolts to the rubber vibration mounts, they stood out too proud, so I had to take a little bit off. And kind of monkey with that. Put the radiator in, got everything hooked up, and realized that my phone was dead. So charged my phone, did a few other things. I got the belt on to the compressor, I adjusted the belts, I got my wiring routed out of the way, and I'm about to put the lines back on. And then once that's done, I can start vacuuming this thing down and fill up the radiator. And then once that's done, I'll be able to check for vacuum, make sure it's not leaking down, and then hopefully if all's good, I can gas this thing up and see what it says. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm going to be assembling the lines, and hopefully everything will go together well. So I've been pulling vacuum for about an hour and a half, and that was on the recommendation of Old Air when I bought the compressor. So I'm gonna shut this thing down now, and then see how we do with holding a vacuum. So I'm gonna leave this sit for a while and see if my gauges move off at all. Hopefully they don't. And then I'll be pulling this thing out of the garage, filling it with the antifreeze, and get it running. And then I think we'll charge it. And I'm hoping that I can get the charge right. I would prefer it was really hot out. Right now it's kind of evening here, and it's hot and muggy a bit, but it's more muggy and starting to cool off. So as soon as the sun's dropping, now that we're in the change of the season, it starts getting cold or cool, and we'll do the best we can. And hopefully tomorrow the weather is how it has been, which it's been, 60 at night and 90 during the day, and I can give this thing a pretty thorough test. So I'm excited to see what it says. I'm pretty hopeful, and that's where we're at. So I'll bring you back once I let this thing sit for a while, and we'll get the car outside. All right, so I got everything hooked up. I got the can in and purged out the air through the yellow line, and now I got the ace on, and it's not really pulling anything. I got everything hooked the way that I should, so I'm going to jump the clutch to get this thing sucking. I know I said I was going to pull the car out, but it started to pour, so I think I'm going to stay in here where it's nice and dry. Well, my dryer is dripping. It's pretty cold to the touch, like really cold. And my air is blowing about 60 degrees. When I was giving it, revving the motor and giving it some gas, it was moving. So I'm at 50 and around 200 pounds on the high side, which 45 to 50 is supposed to be optimal, and between 180 and 200. So I'm going to call this done for now. And I don't know that I'm extremely satisfied, but I'm going to give it a little test tomorrow and we'll see how it acts. It's supposed to be nice out. And that'll be the telltale sign, I guess. So I'm out driving, and it's not really that hot today. I was kind of hoping for it to be a little bit warmer, but it's been at least 75 to 78 maybe when the sun is shining. It's pretty cloudy today, but I'll tell you what, that right there is blowing pretty cold, and that's while I'm moving. So I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were discussing that maybe my fan clutch could be worn out, and that it's, you know, starving for some air at idle. So I'm gonna check that. Maybe I'll end up replacing that, but I don't think I'll be doing that until springtime. It's getting towards the end of the year here, and the weather is gonna be mild with a few warmer days, but I'm gonna call this a win, and I'm gonna say that I'm pretty happy with the results. So that said, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Thanks.